and girls, good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Cage Side with Christopher James. That's me. I'm Christopher James, and you guys wish you could be, but you can't because there's only one of me, guys, and that's all right, man, because really, the world can only take one of me any fucking way. So we got all kinds of good stuff going on tonight, and I just want to tell you all, man, UFC 249, they announced it today. It's taking place in Jacksonville, Florida, along with two events following. So we're going to have the 9th with the UFC, the 13th with the UFC, and the 16th with the UFC. So it's a Saturday, then a Wednesday, then a Saturday, and it's going to be fucking dope, dude. And then they got another show the following week. So it's so much fun. I'm so excited that we are going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The UFC is right here, like I said, in Florida. Dana said today the first event is definitely going to be Jacksonville, which is UFC 249. But after that, he wouldn't commit to any other location. Although I know it's going to be in Jacksonville. So you know, it's that's what we do. I'm sorry, kids. I'm typing stuff as we roll along here, and I got to tag a few people in this post here to let them know. I can't even spell tonight, man. But so, like I said, you know, and it's going to be great, man. Title fights: Cejudo and Dominic Cruz, and of course, the main event: Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy versus Justin Gaethje. The highlight: 6 UFC fights for Gaethje, 7 post-fight bonuses. This kid is absolutely awesome. I love him to death, man, and all kinds of good stuff going on. So that's it. Now, we are going to have a good time tonight. I promise you all that, man. So, and I've got a cool guest, man, and I'll tell you, you know, this kid, this young man, reached out to me, and he said to me one day, he goes, dude, I'm a fan. I follow your stuff all the time. Get me on your show. And I told him soon. And then I got busy, and he got busy, and boom, now I got to get him on the show. So we are going to bring him on here in just a second, boys and girls, because he's awesome. Yep, and the UFC, like I said, is coming to Jacksonville, so it's going to be a good time. So, you know, you better be ready, man. You know what I'm saying? You better be ready. You better be ready. But as we roll right now, joining us on the show, let me get that out of there for right now. You ready? Are you ready, kids? Well, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, right now making his first ever appearance on Cage Side with Christopher James from Atlanta, Georgia. A bantamweight prospect, 10-2, and he's making the march to the UFC. He just signed a management contract with First Crown Management, headed up by Malky Kawa and the boys. And he trains an American Top Team / Team Lima. So please welcome the 10-2, the man himself. Make some noise for the one and only Cody Durden.
What's up, man? That's quite an entrance.
Hey, man, we got to do it up big for you, bro. I made you wait a year, so I had to give you the hype. So, boys and girls, this is Cody Durden. He's joining us from Georgia. And good to see you, man. Congratulations on signing with First Round. They are going to skyrocket your career for you, man. As long as you keep doing what you're doing in the cage, they're going to get you where you want to go.
Hey, that's my hopes, man. You know, as long as I'm performing, you know, I expect the same out of them. So let's keep the ball rolling.
Well, you know, those are the guys that will earn their money as your management because they're going to make you some jack, bro. They're going to make you some jack, man. They're going to get you in front of the right people at the right time, and you can't ask for anything better. And you know, I tell you, you know, working with Malky, you know, I've known him for years. He really cares about his athletes, whether they're pro football players, baseball players, MMA fighters. Malky wants you guys, the guys that he manages and represents, to have a great life, and not so much their sporting career, but their life. He wants to make sure that his athletes are financially set, you know, because, you know, the shelf life for an athlete isn't always long. And So he wants to make sure that you guys, get investments done right. You're not wasting all your money going out and buying fancy cars and, sound systems for your favorite podcast host or stuff like that, but he wants to make sure you have the finances set up to have, money, so you have assets, investments, property, a home, and stuff. So when you do decide to step away from fighting, that you're set to go. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And
Oh wait, hold on. Before you say anything, I customary tradition. I got to start the show with. Whenever it's a first time guest, I start the show with this.
I hear you.
Joe Rogan does on there. I know he's a little more famous, man, but so what? Everybody's doing it anyway, man.
Hey,
and I got a script, so I'm good. Fuck it.
Yeah, it lightens the mood. So
absolutely, man. And you said to me, see, you're drinking a cocktail right there. You're not in fight camp. What you said? Hey, hold on. Like the kids say, yo, what you drinking on?
Yeah, that's Evan Williams and Coke. So
ooh.
You
ever drink that proper 12 number 12 proper whiskey?
I have, yeah, man. I don't really like it.
I don't drink, so I don't know. So I couldn't compare it to anything. I just wanted to get an opinion on it. So
I don't really like it. It's
all right. So let's get back before we get too sidetracked on booze and buds. Tell me what you were going to say, because how Malky, when you chose a management company, because I'm sure other people wanted to sign you, but you chose first round. Tell me why you chose first round. What did you know about them, and what enticed you to say, you know what, let me have these guys represent me?
Man, pretty much, I had a lot of management companies reach out to me, and I've been so hesitant on pulling the trigger. And, I just look at results and who they have and what they've done. And I saw that Malky and the management group, have done a phenomenal job, even, as it trickles down from Malky to other agents that he has underneath him. They're still doing well and getting the guys where they need to go, where they want to go. And, I just couldn't turn down the opportunity at this point. I feel like I'm 29 years old. I'm in my prime, and I need to make something happen. So I had to pull the trigger, and that's what I did.
Well, and how did the conversation start? Did you reach out to them, or did they reach out to you? And did you actually deal with Malky? I know you said there was somebody else, but you also mentioned Malky when we were off the air talking. So tell me your experience with Malky. Was it the first time you ever spoke to and everything?
No, I mean, Malky did me just like you did. When I was 6-2, I messaged you and tried to get an interview and try to get exposure, and I didn't hear anything back. So I just kept staying persistent like I am, and eventually now I'm 10-2, and you reach out to me. Let's get this interview done, and that's the same thing that Malky did.
Wait, no, hold on a second. Hold on. We got to back up a little bit, because when you did reach out to me, because I got the message right here, bro. Let's see. It says you reached out to me almost a year ago to the day, 4 days shy of a year. You said, I won the Sparta 8-man 130-pound tournament, 10K in the belt last night in Denver, Colorado. Fought 3 times, 30-second KO in the finals. Can I get an interview? And then about 12 hours later, come on, man, I've been your number one fan, please.
Exactly.
And I said, I'll let you know soon. And you said, okay, boss. And then life got busy for me in that last life got busy for me in that last year. And I actually had put my show on hold for a little while last year. And I was doing some stuff because I was building my website up, and I wanted to get that up and running. But you were on my list of people to get, because as you see, I saved the message. I don't ever delete stuff like this, because I know at some point I'm going to reach out and make it happen, And first, I want to say thank you for following me, being a fan. It really makes me feel good that, a guy who's a pro fighter says, you know what, I like what Chris does, and I want to get on his show. So that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not your average journalist. I'm not, one of these real straight-laced guys. I like to have a lot of fun and goofy, and just goof. So we do silly stuff on the show. I don't write out my questions ahead of time. I have an idea of the first 2 questions I'm going to ask, and then everything else is organic.
Yeah.
We've talked about diarrhea on this show before because the fighter said he had the shits. And that's just the way it went. So you can't script it out. You just got to go with it however it works. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I didn't blow you off, because you make it sound like I blew you off. Like, listen, I wasn't trying to big time you, dude. I'm on the grand scheme of MMA media outlets. They're way up here, and I'm down here somewhere. So trust me, I'm just as much as you wanted to be on my show, I wanted you on the show. And I talk to everybody. You've watched. I talk to a lot of big name guys, and I talk to some medium name guys. I talk to guys that aren't in the UFC yet.
Yeah.
Like, now, Malky, you said waited till you were 10-2, and then he reached out to you. So let's go back to that. So he reached out to you personally.
I reached out to him. I kept giving him the spiel, like, hey man, I'm 7-2. I just won again. Hey man, I'm 8-2. Eventually I'm like, hey man, I'm 10-2. I just beat a guy who's 10-3. He's won 4 out of his last 5, and I smoked him in the first round. And then I said, let's make a deal, And then he said, let's make it happen. So that's what we did.
That's awesome, man. And like I said, that's cool. That's your persistence, both in the cage and outside of the cage when it comes to your career, because up until now, you didn't really have anybody to guide you, coaches and some teammates. You do train with the Lima brothers in Georgia, and those guys have been around for years and they know the business. So without management, official management, having those guys in your corner is like having management. I know how strong the bond is at ATT. When you're training at any ATT facility, your family. So the Lehman boys watch out for you. I know we traveled to Europe together in like 2010. Diego fought with us at the XFC, and we went over to Cyprus. And man, that's when I met those guys, and love them both, man. They're good dudes. Diego's funny. We get the cocktail or two with him back in the day, though. I will say that.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten to see him take a shot or have a drink because he don't drink alcohol. Since I've known him, he hasn't. And this is since I guess 2016. And,
well, I'm talking like 2009, 10.
Yeah.
He was young and coming up. He hadn't made it to the UFC yet. So he was just kind of and we were over in Europe. I think it was the first time he traveled internationally for a fight, and everybody cut up a little bit that night, and it was a good time. And I'll share a video with you after the show where we went to this castle, and we all went to check it out. And I had a little misstep, we shall say. You'll see the video when I share with you later. You'll be, oh my fucking God, Chris. But anyway, so you got the Limas to watch out for you, and now you've signed with one of the biggest management companies in the game. It's them. It's dominance. With Ali Abdelaziz. Oh, that was your neck cracking. I like that, dude. My shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Telling you, man.
Yours was rocking there, dude.
This shit's rough. I'm telling you.
Yeah. But Ali Abdelaziz and Dominance is one of the big ones. Sucker Punch and Brian Butler, the other one. And then, of course, FRM, First Round Management, man. To me, those are the 3 biggest groups, that have a lot of fighters. Not a fan of Ali Abdelaziz as a human being. Some people go, well, you shouldn't say that publicly. Well, I could say that publicly. It's my show. It's my opinion. However, if I was a fighter, I don't think I would mind having him in my corner because he does get stuff done for his athletes. He just tries to make himself too much the center of attention, and that's not the way it should be. Malky won't ever do that to you. Abe won't do that to you. Brian Butler doesn't do that to anybody, and none of his guys, David Arbello, that worked for them as well. So, Matt Weibel is one of the guys from First Round also. He doesn't put himself front and center. He lays in the low, and does his thing in the weeds and makes, his fighters, takes his fighters where they need to go. And that's it. Ali likes to be in the camera, and I don't like that about him. But, he's got, like 4 world champions under his in his stable right now. So it's time for the FRM guys to go out there and take all that gold back.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's a great manager, very loyal, and I've actually met him 3 times and actually rolled with him and been back and forth with him through email. And he's a hothead, but I believe that he's got his fighters back 100%. And that's one thing I like about him. But we're all human. We have our flaws. So
You ain't shitting,
yeah,
bro.
no.
You ain't shitting. I just have a couple. I'm sure you probably have one or two. I mean, you and I are probably as close to perfect males as can be on the earth. I mean, you would agree with that, right?
Well, it depends on what you're doing off camera.
Of
When you're on
course
camera.
you agree. Oh, sorry, man. I'm playing with toys today. I'm having a good time. So, and I'm going to get this one. Way to go. Way to go. Oh, we got laughs. We got sirens. And if you guys didn't know it already, let me just tell you, Cody Durden is the
Bomb.
what?
Wow.
Thank you very much. But anyway, we're gonna have a good time tonight. So, and like I said, I bounce all over the place sometimes. But to get all serious, because sometimes you got to actually be a journalist. So you're 10-2 as a pro,
Right.
and it doesn't seem like the UFC right now, and really over the last year, has really just signed anybody from the regionals, unless it was an emergency late fill-in. But even those spots now, the route to the UFC is through the Contender Series. Now, with the pandemic going on right now, we got these 3 events we were talking about before I brought you on, UFC 249, and then 2 events to follow, and then another one right after. So there's 4 events coming up in a 2-week span. 3 in 1 week, and then a week later, the next one. The Contender Series hasn't really been spoken about this year. Earlier, before the pandemic, they started talking about people that might make it to the Contender Series, guys that, MMA Junkie was predicting should go. But it's kind of, I think the Contender Series is on hold right now as they try to just plan regular events, with no fans in attendance. Your path, should go through the Contender Series. I mean, that's the way it is right now because they want to get a look at you before they ever bring you into the actual octagon. So for you, and nobody's fighting right now. For you as a guy that's 29 years old, 10-2, you've got belts upon belts upon belts. Cody's got belts because he beats people up and he gets them belts. What do you do right now to keep your game fresh? To one, be ready if they say, hey, look, we're going to start the Contender Series, the first week of June, which is, 5 weeks away. What do you have to do to get yourself prepared if that happens? Or, Lord willing, something happens to one of these cards coming up and they need a late minute bantamweight or featherweight. Are you ready to jump within, 5 days, within 5 days or less?
Listen, Dana White, Sean Shelby, if you're listening to this, short notice me. I dare you, motherfucker, because I'm ready. All right,
Hey, hold on.
I've been training.
Don't say I dare you, motherfucker, to date him, Sean Shelby.
Hey,
I dare you.
I've been training. I've been training, and I've trained with some of the best guys in the world: Kyoji Horiguchi, Rafael Asuncio. The last 3 months, before this whole pandemic, I was training with Rafael Asuncio for 3 months straight. From December to the beginning of March, and I know where I stand, and all I need is an opportunity. And Jacksonville is in my backyard. It's 5 hours away. It's in your front yard, and I'm ready. So. Luckily, a buddy of mine has a gym, and I have a gym in my basement. And so we have mats, and I have mats in my basement. He has mats at his house, and I'm creating a small team around me, and we're still making it happen every day. So
what are you walking around at?
I'm about 151 right now, 152.
So 145 would be easy for you. 135, not a problem either.
Yeah, 145 would be easy for me if I wanted to get my ass whooped against some of the best guys in the world. But 135, I'm a problem. So,
but if they call you and say, look, I got a late, last minute, man, I need a 45er. Can you do it? Are you going to do it?
I absolutely, I'll do it.
That's what I'm saying. Because listen, those calls do happen in the rare occurrence. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are Contender Series veterans that would, might get a call before you, but some guys say, no, I'm not ready. I haven't been in camp. Boom, boom, boom. This is the time for every MMA fighter on the planet to be ready to jump in at a weight class, their weight class or one weight class above on 5 days notice. Means, figure out a way to train to keep yourself in shape because as the UFC starts to put out shows, and they've got a ton of fighters on the roster ready to go, But there's gonna be a couple of people I think who are gonna get an opportunity because something's gonna happen and they're not gonna be able to fly anybody else in from across the country and get all the clearance done. Especially for you right now, Florida is a godsend for you because you like you said, you're 5 hours from Jacksonville, you're 8 hours from Tampa. If they move one here, you're 8 hours and 45 minutes from Orlando. So those are the places where any of these events could take place.
Yeah, exactly.
But no contender series right now. So what's the plan? Well, I mean, I know you just signed with First Round. Have you talked with them? Have they set up a plan of attack? Have you guys really kind of talked about it? Or are they kind of saying, let's see how this all develops?
Well, actually, before I signed with them, or right when I signed with them, I have a fight lined up right now, June 13th, Attitude MMA versus Joshua Weems. We're
Nice.
waiting on the venue to be verified, and then he's going to send the contract, and it's for another belt. So
Nice.
until they call me, man, I'm just going to continue to train, continue to look for mistakes that I'm making, and continue to try to fix them. And eventually, when the time is right, they'll call me.
What about if PFL has suspended their season for 2020, so they're not an option for anybody this year. What if it was the call from Bellator? Is that acceptable for you, or is it the UFC or nothing?
No, man. My overall goal is to be able to support my family financially and be able to train. And if I can do that with one championship, Risen, Bellator, then yeah, that would be acceptable. But the UFC, that they're the top tier promotion, and you got UFC attached to your back, then it adds more value to your worth in the media's eye. So that would be my number one choice, but we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, I mean, because Bellator does pay decent sometimes, but you have to really be up there with Bellator. If you're fighting on the regular card early, you're not making a lot of money.
Exactly.
Everybody says, "Oh, Bellator is great," but they don't, and they bitch about UFC fighter pay. But UFC fighters, I think the starting pay now is either 12-12 or 14-14.
Well, they ain't making Douglas Lima money. I'll tell you that.
Well, Douglas Lima is Bellator. I mean,
The top.
he went there, and he's beaten so many, and he's lost a couple along the way, but he's always come back stronger. Off of every loss, he's always come back stronger and a better version of himself. Like I said, all the mad respect for Doug and for Douglas and for Diego. And you also mentioned Rafael Assunção, and Junior Assunção, the whole Assunção family. You really have been fortunate to deal with all those guys and the lineage that they bring along with them. That's truly a blessing.
Yeah. I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. When I step in that gym, man, all the outside worries go away, man, and I stay in there, and I'm consistent, man. The consistency is what has gotten me to where I am today. Because a lot of motherfuckers, they'll talk and talk, but guess what? This pandemic's happened. They ain't training. They ain't doing shit. I'm the one running miles, calling people, getting them to come train with me, getting them to come to the house, to the basement, going to my buddy's house. We're still making it happen, and that's what champions do, and that's why I'm a double champion.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Got a couple of belts, and you might even be a champion somewhere else coming up here. Like you just said, if that fight goes down in June, that's another belt added to the collection. And ain't nothing wrong with having a little bit of jewelry, a little bling around, to show people that you're not just here to screw around. You're here to win, get titles, and move on to the next organization and take that title, and then move on to the next one.
Exactly.
You said something a minute ago about working on the holes in your game. So where do you see the holes? What's your biggest glaring hole that you have to really, for lack of a better term, where do you have to get your shit together?
I mean, you find that out as you train. I might invite. So, for instance, my buddy Anthony Armedio, he's a Division I wrestler. He wrestled Division I at Edinburgh when Gillespie was there. And we train all the time, all the time. And he he might do certain things that I'm not real good at. But I'm not gonna go in detail of what he does. But and then I tell him, like, bro, there's no reason why I can't get out of that position, or there's no reason why you're beating me in that position. I need to fix it. And then we'll go to YouTube, we'll ask, or we'll just brainstorm different ways of fixing the hole in the game. And that's it, man. You just gotta find it and fix it.
Yeah, but I want to know, in your eyes, yourself, where do you feel you need to do the most work? Is it your striking? Is it your wrestling defense? Is it your submission or your submission defense? Well, I mean, what discipline of, mixed martial arts? Is it wrestling? Is it jiu-jitsu? Is it striking? Is it kicking? Where do you just feel that you need to do a little extra work to really, because, the next level, you're going to be facing next level guys. So
right.
You're going to have to make, you're going to keep evolving. You're 29. You're going to keep learning. But I think every fighter knows about themselves the one thing that they really need to work on. For like Khabib, he's a phenomenal wrestler, and he continues to work on his striking. If you ask him, he'd probably tell you, I got to work on my striking. And he's a world champion. So but he's evolving. And he dropped Connor. That was fucking pretty dope, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Watching Connor go from him when nobody expected. That was to me, that was the highlight of the whole fight. Forget the finish. So for you, what's that one area where you feel that Cody Durden needs to step it up a little?
Well, without going into detail, let's bring up an instance. I was fighting Ryan Hollis, okay? I was beating his ass the whole first round on the feet, okay? And then I knew fighting him, he was like, his record was like 13-13, and he's only been finished twice. But I was like, man, fuck that. I'm going to finish him, So I took him down after beating his ass on my feet. I took him down, and things were going well for me, but I felt like I wasn't dominating in the positions. Like, it was more scrambling and shit, And you'll have to go back and watch it. And then
I saw the fight.
Okay. So why, and this comes with learning and growing as a fighter, why, if I know in my head the only way he can win is to catch me in a submission, why would I take him to the ground when I could have beat him all 3 rounds on my feet? And that's how I learn and grow, and just, becoming a better fighter mentally and knowing situations. This is chess, not checkers. I didn't have to knock him out. I didn't have to submit him. All I had to do was win. Instead of being 10-2, I'd be 11-1 right now. But I lost. He caught me in a submission, and I didn't tap out. I went to sleep, and I learned from it. Like, hey, why the fuck would you give him the only thing that he could get? Because I know that motherfucker wasn't going to knock me out, So you're beating him on the feet. Why are you going to take him down and give him the only thing he has? Until this day, that's why he's been offered thousands of dollars, and he will not rematch me. But you live.
He's got that win. He's got that win against you, dude. And obviously he knows I know from watching the fight, and he knows from being in the fight with you.
You live and you learn.
He stole one from you, and you let him. But that's the thing. You let him steal it. Yep.
That was his night. You live, you learn, and you don't lose. You learn from it. So, and that's what I did.
Yeah. Well, that's good stuff, man. I'm excited to see what the future holds, man. And what sucks is the future's on hold. What does the future hold? But the future's on hold. It's like weird, working those words back and forth together. It sucks because there's a lot of guys out there like you that are, this close, and they just need that contender series for the exposure to get in front of Dana, Mick, and Sean. Let them see you up close and personal, because and I like that they're doing this, because now they're not just going, all right, man, let's just grab this guy from this promotion. We got 3 days. We got to find somebody, and pretty much everybody's going to say yes to that call. But now they have a little more education when they go, all right, we got 3 days. That kid that was on the contender, he did a really good job. He did win. We felt he needed to get some work. He got another win on the regional since he left the contender. Let's bring him in and give him a shot. And that's how guys in your situation are getting there. So I hope that thing comes back sooner rather than later. I'm hoping before the end of the summer, so we can get some fighters going. And continue to build the roster. Now, speaking of the roster, here's a question for Cody that I wanted to ask you. You're in bantamweight, so you're looking at guys like right now in the UFC. Cejudo is the champ. Dominic Cruz is coming back to hopefully win that belt back. That's right. I'm picking Dominic to win. But there's a lot of studs in that division. So we know that when you come into the UFC, you're not getting a title shot off the bat. So you're not getting Cejudo. You're not getting Dominic Cruz. Do you study this division and look at guys who are, 1 or 2 fights in or 3 fights into their UFC career? And do you have your eyes on some of that talent? Because the smart thing to do is come in there and take somebody at your level. Don't try to overextend yourself. Don't, try to eat too much because you're going to get sick, So are you studying this division now? And really, because now you're getting closer, maybe 4 fights ago wasn't a necessary evil, but now you're there. You're almost there. So do you study that roster and say, you know what, these are the guys that I have to target and look at. And if I get through a couple of them, then I can take that next group up, So are you planning on that?
Let me tell you something, Christopher. I'm obsessed. Okay, I watch fighting all the time. If I'm not training, I'm watching fights, and I even video my practices and watch little mistakes that I should have capitalized on. Like I sat out yesterday on my buddy Anthony. I sat out, did a peek out from the bottom, and his leg came out, and that was my moment to go around the hip, but I didn't, and he got back on me. So I lost the position. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I could have been on top. Instead, I was still on bottom.
Correct.
So I watch all of their fights, man. I'm pretty obsessed, and I'm ready.
Dude, man, you're jacked up right now, man. I'm trying to think if it's just because you're excited about fighting or the cocktail you had a little while ago.
a little bit of both. I'm excited. I'm excited to be on your show, and I'm excited.
That makes me feel good when you say that, dude. I mean, in my heart, dude, I really appreciate you saying that you're excited to be here and that you really wanted to be here. Means the world to me, man. It does.
Yeah, I'm excited, man, and I'm even more excited for what the future holds. It's been a long journey and nothing's happened yet. So,
well, hold on. That's not true. It's been a long journey and things have happened. You've become a champion in other places. You've made some money. You've now signed with First Round. This is a process, dude. So, everybody doesn't get to the UFC when they go 6-0. There are guys that have taken a lot longer path than yours. I mean, Kama Worthy is Kama Worthy, I think he got to the UFC and he had a bunch of fights. Who was I speaking to the other night? Derek Minner. He was 24-11 before he got his UFC call. You know what I'm saying? And he had to go through the contender circuit, So don't rush and don't feel like you haven't accomplished anything because you have. If you hadn't accomplished anything, think about it like this. Do you think First Round would fuck with you?
Probably not.
Okay, so give yourself a little credit for what you've accomplished now. Doesn't mean to quit working hard. Now it's time to work twice as hard. But remember, you've already accomplished some stuff, bro. So, like I said, you're 10-2 as a professional mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
That's doing something, right?
Yeah. 4-0 in boxing, too.
Damn. I even forgot that you told me I saw something on your page. You didn't tell me. I saw something on your page about you doing boxing. I was like, I meant to write. Said I'll write notes down sometimes, and sometimes I forget. But yeah, 4-0 boxer. So obviously, we're not worried about your stand-up game. It's some groundwork that you got to, put yourself in those positions. I get it. Even if you're not going to say the words out loud, I interpret it. I translated what you said.
Really? Because that's actually my best suit. I don't know if you know that or not.
Well,
I've been wrestling since 6th grade. I've been to the state championship. I've wrestled at national tournaments. That's my best suit. Watch my fights, Watch
wrestling.
My fights.
That's right. Wrestling is different than jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but I got 9 finishes though.
I get it because you use wrestling, but when you said to me, when you talked about the Ryan Hollis fight a few minutes ago, you basically put yourself in a bad position and you left yourself there, which means that you weren't aware of something on that ground that he was going to do that you couldn't get out. Not saying that you haven't improved from there since then, because you went back, like you said, you looked at the film, you figured out where you made the mistake on the ground, and now you won't let yourself get caught like that again. But it just seems to me that based on that verbiage of that conversation, it says to me that, for you in your head, the thing you work on the most is probably in your ground and your submissions, and both working on finishes, like you've got a bunch already, but also defending, submissions. And,
Right.
because I'm, like I said, you're a boxer, you're 4-0. We've seen you knock dudes out in 30 seconds. I don't think you're worried about striking with your hands. I already knew you were a wrestler, so wrestling is part of it. But, to incorporate your wrestling and get your jiu-jitsu perfectly sync up together, I think, and it's not just you, dude. There's plenty of guys out there. Like I said, that are in the UFC ahead of you. Like I said, we brought Khabib up. Khabib's got to work on striking. He knows it. And he does. And so if you got to work, if you're 10-2 right now, and you're still working on some of your jits and stuff, you're supposed to be. So don't be like, oh man, I can't fucking say. Listen, everybody knows about themselves, and it's okay to be honest, with me, with yourself, with the people watching, they respect that. You just go, all right, man, so maybe I got to work a few things in my jits, but it doesn't mean that you don't have jits. You know what I'm saying? You got, we know you got jujitsu, dude. You got submission wins. Of course you got it. But if we just break it down, and I'm going to ask you this, we'll just do it right now. Out of your striking, your wrestling, and your jujitsu, which part of and you don't even have to go into detail. Is it striking, wrestling, or jiu-jitsu that you need the most, that you want to put the most work into because you could make the most improvement?
None of them, man. None of them.
Oh.
I'm telling you. You know what I need to work on?
I love you, dude.
I'll tell you what I need to work on.
Okay.
I fought 125 for 6 or 7 fights, and I just moved up to 135. I'm weighing about 150. These guys are weighing 160, 165. That's
right, man.
I need to get stronger. I need to get stronger. If I'm going to compete competitively at 135, I need to get stronger.
Well, I would say that's not necessarily true, dude. I mean, you want to have physical strength, but you're about the average size of most of the guys in the bantamweight division. I mean, some are a little thicker, but it doesn't mean they're stronger. It doesn't mean they're better. And look at a guy like Frankie Edgar over his career. Frankie Edgar was the lightweight champion of the world, and when Frankie Edgar walked into the octagon on fight night, Frankie Edgar weighed 155, 156 pounds. Everybody he fought was 100. Yeah, it's a true story. Everybody he fought was walking in 170, 175 on fight night. They made weight on fight. So to me, that will always make Frankie Edgar the greatest lightweight champion ever. And in some terms, the greatest champion ever, because he's the only one who performed at weigh-in weight when he was the champion. Nobody else does that. And it's like, oh, I weighed in at 155 and then I'm fighting at, I'm 180, or I weighed in at, 185 and I'm fighting at, I'm 207, so technically I'm fighting at a heavyweight, a heavyweight, weight, but I'm fighting at middleweight, so I get mad at the weight class thing. So don't necessarily, and again, I'm not a coach. I'm not a trainer, and I don't fight professionally for a living. But I will say that it doesn't necessarily. I remember when John Jones fought over in St. Preux, and he put on all that muscle mass. He won the fight, but he was slower, because his body, your body burns the oxygen differently with all the muscle. So, and I know you're not stupid. Of course, you're gonna, but I tell guys, don't burn yourself out with all that muscle because your oxygen depletes faster, and
exactly.
We don't want you to get out like that. If you're going to go down, if Cody Durden goes down, it's never going to be for something silly like that. Cody's, like you said, we know you're not a quitter because you got choked out by Hollis and you refused to tap out.
That was a bad night, man. Looking back, I should have fucking tapped out. I woke up and I looked around. I didn't know where the fuck I was. Okay. I didn't know where I was. It was bad.
Of course it was, dude. You got put to sleep because you were stubborn. You're a stubborn dude.
I'm stubborn as hell.
I know, because I keep asking you the question. You won't answer it directly.
You know where
that's good, though. It's good to be stubborn.
I need to get better everywhere. How about that?
That's a good answer. But,
how about that?
I like that. But like I said, man, you don't have to answer. I'm not even going to bust your balls about it anymore. But, but, like I said, don't be ashamed if somebody asks you, because here's the thing, too. While you're doing the show me tonight, this is training. I mean, this is a legit interview, but it's training because you're going to have to, answer these questions in front of the big media, at some point, and you have to, don't be afraid to answer them. Go, well, you could be sitting there one day with, Brett Okamoto on ESPN, and you could have just, got your first fight or, got your first win. And, he's going to ask, hey, where do you see in your game that you need to make the most improvement? And you should be able to look at him and go, well, maybe somewhere in my submission or, maybe in the way I throw my kicks, and don't be afraid to say it, dude, because you know what?
Yeah.
You may not want to say it, but people are watching you and they're going to look and go, well, that guy throws kicks like a fucking schmuck. So they're going to go, hopefully he answers my kicks, I mean, the fans always appreciate the honesty and the respect and being real.
Yeah.
Look at Mike Perry. Mike Perry tells it like it is. Mike Perry will say, hey, I got to work on my jiu-jitsu, man. Cerrone beat me up this or this one. He don't care if, people go, well, why are you? Because he wants to keep it real, and that's just who he is. So,
yeah, exactly.
He doesn't win, and he doesn't win all those fights, but he stays in the UFC because he's real and he brings the fight every night.
Exactly, but he's also been shown what he needs to be what needs to work. You know what I mean? If I got choked out a month ago or something, guess what, Christopher? I need to work my jiu-jitsu, but I didn't. It's been a long time since I lost, and I'm ready to be tested. I'm ready to be tested. Like I took the hard fight in March. Like 3 minutes. Like that wasn't very fucking hard. You know what I mean? Didn't even get hit. So, like, fucking test me. You know what I mean? Show me what I need to work. And I like that. You know what I mean? I want to, I'm very humble. You know what I mean? I can be beat. I didn't say nobody can beat me, but I just, at this point, like, I need to know what I need to work, and I think I need to work everything.
Yeah, well, and that's the best attitude to have, because you always want to work on all of it to continually improve and evolve. Because as you continue in the sport's going to continue to grow around you, and you're either going to ride with it or you're going to get run over. That's the way it works,
Exactly.
So, you've been fighting for a while now. When you got into the fight game, and like you said, we all know you're a wrestler coming up. But what did your parents, say when you said, I'm going to be a professional mixed martial arts fighter? Was there anybody in your family going, shut up, or come on, stop it,
Hell no. Let me tell you something. My dad took me to American Top Team after I graduated high school. I was like, man, I'm thinking about joining a fight gym. He was like, all right, when we going up there? And I was like, shit, I don't know. And then he just like, all right, well, I'm going with you. And then we rode up there, met Diego and Amir and Douglas, and the rest is history. I was 3-1 as an amateur, and at the time, before that, I was training like at a weightlifting gym, and they had like these little bitty ass mats with one other person,
Nice.
And
you gotta start somewhere, man.
Yeah, and he actually knew the promoter, Jesse Wable from NFC. He was like, yo, we have this wrestler, let's get him on. I was the first fight on the card when I first started, and I was fucking nervous, boy. I'll tell you what, I was nervous. But after that, my family was like, let's do it. You know what I mean? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So that's what we did.
Nobody in the family was like, man, don't do it.
Hell no, man. I'm telling you, I sell a crowd. If you ever come to Atlanta and watch me fight, or even, I was selling crowds in South Carolina. Atlanta was bigger crowds, but South Carolina, I still had crowds, but Atlanta was bigger because it's my home base. But man. I mean, my whole team Durden is on board, and
that's awesome.
that comes with your character as a person, and they know who I am as a person, and that's how you continue to build your fan base.
So speaking of building your fan base, you've had the very fortunate experience of being a fan of this as well as being a fighter. So you've seen some great examples of putting themselves in the public eye the right way, and you've seen some examples of fighters that put themselves in the limelight the wrong way. So as far as branding yourself and building that Cody Durden brand, who are the fighters you look at that, you say, I I got to do some of the stuff they do, but in my own way, because I want that same kind of pop. You know, I mean, most people go, "Oh, I want to be like Connor." You know, I mean, he's a phenomenal marketer, but I almost think nobody should say that because he's a once in a lifetime kind of kid when it comes to that. It's hard to emulate what Connor does. As far as not forget the fighting part, but the branding and the marketing. It's hard to emulate that because everybody can't do it. And then there's a guy like Stipe Miocic who refuses to play that game. You know, he doesn't put himself out there. He should be making a lot more money as the heavyweight champion of the world, the quote-unquote baddest man on the planet, but he doesn't do it. You know, so
I mean,
obviously Connor's the extreme of the greatest marketer, and Stipe is the extreme of the worst. You know, I mean, so
actually, Demetrius Johnson is the worst. Okay, I'm not. No
that's
bullshit.
not true.
Hey, if you're the champion for like what 11, 12 fights straight, and you can't sell pay-per-views, and you're dominating,
but that's not his fault because the UFC didn't put the investment and time into the division and didn't showcase it the way they should have with the talent like him. You know, and listen, you know, go look at his Twitch. It's 100% true, dude. Yeah. The Twitch. He's a gamer. His Twitch is off the charts. Fucking, he's well known in all that circle. You know, those people know his fights, but the UFC didn't promote that division properly. And you know, when he signed with First Round, and you know, he's one of your first round familia now. And I was so happy to see that signing because I didn't want to see him leave the UFC at all. But it was the right thing for him to do, and he got paid boatloads of money to go. You know, when they made the trade, you know, brought in Askren and everything, and he's getting to like have another resurgence. He's going to, you know, own Japan and all that stuff over there forever because he's still great, and he's marketed over there. They put the time and money and effort to promoting him and his division. And that weight class, you know, and they've always done that more in the Asian markets, promoting some of the smaller fighters rather than big heavyweights, where Americans are obsessed with the big heavy guys knocking each other out. In Asia, it's a little different. So it couldn't have been a better time for him to go over there. But if the promotion doesn't push your weight class and, you know, doesn't put you in the right spots to shine, you know, then how can you? I mean, they you know, Connor spoke and they put him in spots and they gave him to him and they continued to do that. And they, you know, they put all their eggs in Connor. They put all their eggs in Ronda Rousey. You know, they put all their eggs in Joanna for a little while. You know, I mean, they tried to put all their eggs in Cody Garbrandt, and you know, that didn't work out real well. You know, so sometimes they miss. You know, But so for you, what are the guys? What are the fighters like? You know, name 3 fighters that you look at. Not for their fighting style, but obviously I'm guessing you're going to pick fighters that are successful fighters. But give me 3 fighters, male or female, that you feel you can take a little bit of what they do and incorporate it into your thing so you can build the brand of Cody Durden.
I mean, I'd have to say, you know, I see the up-and-comer Sean O'Malley. You know, he's unique, man. He is unique. Like something like the whole freaking Tony Ferguson videos was fantastic. You know what I mean? I mean, there. You know, Connor at the same time. Connor, you know, he's inspirational. And then you got to take a little bit of a Justin Gaethje, man. I'm a huge fan of Justin Gaethje.
I know you are.
And he's so original, man. You know what I mean? I'm about to fight, and and we're sitting there talking, and he's taking a dip while I'm about to fight, just dipping. You know what I mean? Like, how original is that? You know what I mean? He don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. You know?
I know. I've known him for a few years, man. Best Uber ride I ever had in my life, and I've taken quite a few, was with Justin Gaethje at UFC 206 in Toronto. Holy fuck, dude! I'm just gonna tell you, man, we had a good time. But he's a cool dude, you know. But you know, cool. 6 UFC fights, 7 UFC bonuses.
Yeah.
Dang. And he puts himself out there the right way. He gets loud. He gets, you know, boisterous. But he does it all on the right side of the law. You know what I'm saying? He does it like he'll call out the people he thinks are idiots, you know, and he does it. And the fashion he does it. For me, if I were going to be a fighter, I would take a piece of what Conor does, or Conor continues to do. I would take a piece of what Ronda Rousey does or did when she was a fighter. And Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier, and thank God Daniel Cormier and John Jones hated each other. Best rivalry we've had, better than Chuck and Tito.
It was good, man.
And
but it was entertaining. It was drama, and it was entertaining, and something drew us to it.
Right, but because DC was the good guy, I mean, everybody. And listen, you follow me. I am a John Jones fan. I've always supported him. He did this little legal thing a little while back. That was silly. Boom, boom, boom. You move on. It's not a big deal like everybody tries to make it out to be.
Christopher, he's a piece of shit, Christopher.
Well, I
disagree. Really is.
Yep, I disagree, dude. I mean, listen, he's got some demons that he has to deal with, and part of it is alcohol. And again, he's another one of your first round brothers. So
it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying it like that. You can say whatever you want about anybody. I'm just saying he's another guy first round, and that's good to know because they've had his back from jump, and they ride and die with their guys. That's why I brought that up.
We all have opinions, though. You got to respect your fellow. Just because we have different opinions, don't mean I view you any differently. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? I don't care.
If I lived my life like that, dude, I would have to delete, half of my Facebook fucking group because they're all a bunch of I don't buy into that whole Democrat, socialist crap.
Yeah.
I'm all about make America great again and keep this shit going. So
exactly.
But my Democratic friends, my own brother, I'm over here pushing Donald Trump, and my brother over here wants to be a socialist and have Bernie Sanders, take my paycheck to pay for some other kid's college. That's what my brother believes. So, we don't even talk politics. I don't comment on his on Facebook or on media. He don't comment on mine. I also told him he can never comment on my MMA stuff again because he doesn't know anything about MMA. But I still love my brother. He's my brother. Although I'd unfriend him before I unfriended a friend because my brother's just cuckoo.
We're in the same boat then, man.
Yeah, man.
We're in the same boat.
John Jones. You could think whatever you want about him. He's never been, he's never been proven guilty to be doping on purpose. There's not one conviction against him for that. He got into a couple of car accidents. Listen, people crap on him because he tried some blow a few years back and had a little blow problem. He's a young athlete. He had some money. Listen, everybody makes mistakes in life like that. I won't shit on him for that. I also won't shit on him for the car accident when he hit the girl, the pregnant lady. I don't shit on him for the car accident. I do not condone how he behaved after he ran away. He did come back and, went to jail, or went to court, did whatever they set up for him. He didn't get any special treatment because when that all happened, I reached out to the district attorney's office and I asked him, what's the typical sentence for this offense, first offense like this for anybody? And they broke it down for me and told me what it would most likely be. And then exactly what they said is exactly what he got, which is exactly what other cases of the same, got. So he didn't get away with anything. He got the same.
No.
That if it was you, Cody, that night that ran to the pregnant girl and ran away and then came back, you would have gotten the same punishment John Jones did. So people say, oh, he's getting all the special treatment. He didn't get any special treatment.
No.
Now, the steroids and alleged, doping, again, he doesn't have any convictions on anything. So, he's been suspended for not reporting something he took and not doing his due diligence to find out exactly what the hell he took. That's what he got in trouble for. So, at this last incident, the DUI, I don't condone it. It was stupid. I actually am surprised that he was able to work out a good plea deal, with the district attorney, where it's basically probation. Had 5 days of house arrest. He has to wear the ankle monitor. He has to have the alcohol thing in his car. So when he gets in, he has to blow.
Oh, damn, he does?
Yeah,
Shit.
absolutely, 100%. He got a
That's
DUI.
wild. That's
Well,
wild.
but listen, John admitted in public he has an alcohol problem. And I respect him for saying it out loud to the public because, we've talked about, and he's mentioned some stuff before. There will come a day where John Jones grows out of all of it. And I hope that day comes sooner rather than later because I want to see him. I don't care if he ever fights again. I just
It
want
has to. It has to.
I just want to see him get life together. Forget the fighting, you know. And somebody said to me one day, "Oh, that's a bunch. Look at the wasted talent. What's he won? Like 28 fights? There's no wasted talent. He's accomplished everything. He's accomplished more than most people are ever going to accomplish in the UFC. So it wasn't wasted talent. It sucks that we might have had 33 fights by now instead of 28. But
doesn't matter.
If he stopped fighting today, I'm not disappointed, man. I saw the greatest.
No, I mean, he is no doubt, one of the greatest. But there has to be consistency in your behavior of your decision making qualities, and he hasn't. Let's be honest, he hasn't made the best decisions.
Nope.
So,
have you made the best decision in your life all the way through? No.
I haven't. No.
Have I?
Sure haven't.
Nope. So it's hard for me. It's hard for me to judge another man because I'm not perfect. Right. I do say that some of the decisions he's made are bad. There's no doubt. Somebody could say the same thing about me. Now that's not judging somebody. That's just, hey, he made some bad choices. But where it goes wrong is like when you say, hey, he's just a piece of shit. To me, that's going over the top on anybody because, what if you did something bad one day, and you got into a car accident because you were drinking? I'm not going to call Cody Durden a piece of shit. I'm going to say, hey, you made a bad choice at night by getting in the car when you had booze. I'm not the judge of the jury. I'm not the judge of the jury, so it's not fair for me because I don't want you to judge me. I got caught a few years ago with weed in my car, and it wasn't, and I got arrested. Does that make me a piece of shit? No.
Nah.
But if I did it twice, does that make me a piece of shit?
Borderline.
No, stop it, man. Now you're just being a smart ass. Point being, so if I'm not a piece of shit for doing something stupid and getting myself arrested twice for, illegal drugs, then, it's hard for me to say that John Jones is a piece of shit for 2 DUIs. Did he make some bad choices? Absolutely. There's no doubt. I don't condone some of the things he's done, but again, I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury. I'm not the executioner. I'm just somebody trying to watch and see what he does. I feel bad for you guys as professional athletes because sometimes too much of your life is put out in the public. And, that's the other part of this game that you have to learn, once you get big time, because I see you going big time. Once you get there, now you have to really watch what you do because now the world is watching. And,
exactly.
Not just when you're fighting,
not
when you're off the air, and that's when they get you.
Not just you, but the closest people around you. You have to watch what they do as well. It's not just you anymore.
Back on you.
Your wife or your kid or anybody that's around you could do something, and you're in the eye of the media. And so it's not just you.
Yeah. Some people laugh at me when I do a bong rip on the show. I'm like, well, I got a script. I'm good. So, it's me doing what I can do and I'm allowed to. So people give me a hard time because I support Mike Perry, and I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, I support John Jones. I support all my Florida guys that I've worked with. Anybody that I've announced inside a ring or a cage, I'll ride with those people forever because I'm part of their journey and they're part of my journey in this game. And that's loyalty. Phil Rowe just got signed. I'm going to ride with him forever. Yeah. I don't care if he loses 20 fights. I've never announced you, but as much as I know that and I know when you said that you're a big fan and you've been following me a long time, I respect you so much that I'm always going to pull for Cody Durden. I'm the most wrong. Everything I do in media is wrong. Because I'm not supposed to become friends with the fighter. I'm just supposed to interview you and talk to you and get the real. But it's hard not to develop a relationship with people after you have good conversation. And, I'm just that kind of guy. I like to have a lot of friends, It sucks when I have to report on a guy losing, when I have to talk about Mike Perry losing, I go, yeah, he lost. He got his ass kicked, blah, 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 blah. Fucking he shouldn't have dove in there on Donald Cerrone because his jiu-jitsu was on a completely different level than, Mike Perry's. Mike went in there and took the shot anyway, and I respect him for trying it, and it almost looked like it was going to work, and then it didn't.
That's part of the game, though. You know what I mean? You win some, you lose some.
But some fighters that I've been friends with over the years, I've lost a few friends over the years because I had to tell the honest truth about how they fought, and they called me off the air. They're like, "Hey, man, why'd you say that about?" Well, because it happened, dude. I didn't make anything up. This is what happened. You went in there, you stuck your neck out, you got choked out, you went to sleep, and leading up to that, you were fighting off. You weren't landing punches. You weren't landing kicks. There was something off in your game that night. I'm not the only one who saw it, but because we're friends, I can't talk about it. That's not right to ask me. I don't ask you how to do your job. I don't say you have to go out there and win every fight so I can talk about it good. You're going to suck sometimes. Everybody has their bad day. So, I try to distance how many guys I had as friends now, but there's people that I will, and you're one of those guys because you're the man. You've been grinding, you've been working hard, and you support my journey and my dream. This is my dream, doing what I do, announcing fights and talking to fighters. So you support mine, so I'm going to support yours right back too, because that's what loyal people do. Who is Walter Flores?
That's my buddy.
He just see what he wrote on there. The champ is here.
That's my buddy I train with.
Watch this one. That's right, Walter Flores. You're talking to the champ, Cody Durden. That's how we do shit there, bro.
You wild.
Oh, hey, Friday night, dude. We ain't got shit else to do but cut up on the internet and act foolish, man. I mean, this is all we got,
Yeah.
It's so unfair that we don't have more. Let's see. Who we got on here? Let me see if I got some comments popping up there. Good luck on your path. You're in good hands with First Round. Can't wait to see you perform in the UFC. That's from one of my followers, Forrest Daniels, big supporter of the show as well. And he likes when I bring in new guys, first timers on the show, because we're at that time of the night where you've seen my show, so you know what's coming, right?
What?
What do you mean what? You don't know
what
what's
are you talking about?
You've seen my show before, right?
I have, yeah.
Numerous times, right?
Here and there. Yeah, I can't say numerous times.
All right.
I watch it when it's up. I follow all your posts.
All right. Well, look at that right there. What does that say?
Somebody is singing, damn it.
That's you. Every time a guest comes onto my show for the very first time, they are required to sing a song. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be on key. It doesn't have to be perfect tone. Most people that come on the show and sing suck at singing. However, periodically, we get some big winners. Like last year at this time, I was in Fort Lauderdale, or was it 2 years ago? No, I think it was last year. And Greg Hardy making his debut. Greg Hardy, first time on my show. Go back after this show tonight and go to my page and look. And I shared it because a memory came up today. And go to my interview and just scroll through. You see Greg Hardy. And at the end of it, who Mike Davis is, of course. So right where Mike Davis comes on, go back and watch Greg Hardy, because Greg Hardy spit some fucking bars, dude. In tone, in key, perfect pitch. I was like, look at this, but he can play football, he can beat your ass, and he can sing. Shit. So,
oh man.
So, and so far I've had 214 guests on my show over the years. Not one has said no. So, if you're going to go big,
what you want me to sing?
Whatever
what
you
want me to sing, man.
Listen,
I don't know any song. Yo, hit that beat.
You're foolish. You want a beat? No, hold on. Let me give you a beat. Let me see if I can find something here for you. Hold on. I'm going to get you a beat, dog.
Oh. That's too fast, bro. You got to slow it down some.
Oh, man.
Slow it down some. Yo, I'm Lil D. My name is Cody. I got good stamina. Fuck your mom while your daddy hold the camera. Oh, that's all I got. I can't rap. That's it. Oh my God. Hey, I need another drink, bro.
What'd you say?
I need another drink. It's about that time.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said we hit that hour mark. Well, that was some freestyle rapping right there. That I don't know.
Hey, I'm gonna stick to fighting. All right.
Oh no, that's fine. You stick to fighting, man. I totally hope you do. And the only place you can ever sing again is only on my show. Don't sing in front of anybody else again ever.
All right, I got you. I promise I won't.
And, well, listen, bro. I'm so glad that we took this time to get together tonight and talk, man. And like I said, I like to just go goofy inside. Actually, before we do let you go, let's pull up. Hold on. We're gonna do this real quick here. Boom, 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 boom. Where is my? Yeah. All right. So. All right. So we have UFC 249 coming up. So let's pick. I'm gonna pick 5 fights off this card, and you're gonna pick the winners. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start with Bryce Mitchell and Charles Rosa. They're going to be
Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell. All right. Uriah Hall and Jacare Souza.
Man, Uriah Hall. I got to go with Uriah Hall.
Wow, I'm surprised. The return of Fabricio Verdum taking on Alexei Olenek.
Olenek.
Wow. Greg Hardy versus Jorgen De Castro.
I don't know who's going to win, but I hope Hardy wins. I like him.
I like him too, dude. Like I said, you got to go back and look at the interview I did. I had Mike Perry, then Greg Hardy, and then Mike Davis all in a row in Fort Lauderdale last year. One of my favorite shows I've ever done because we were down there live at the Fighter Hotel having a good time. And then the two main fights, Cejudo and Cruz.
I think Cejudo's going to take it, man.
He's gonna keep the belt.
Absolutely, I really think that.
Is he going to finish him, or is it going to go to the decision?
I'm not sure, but I don't see Cruz beating him, man. I just don't.
I think Cruz is going to do that magical footwork, and he's going to fucking out hustle and out point him. I don't think Cejudo is going to keep him down. So we'll see. I'm taking Cruz to win that one. And the main card, Ferguson and main event, Ferguson versus Gaethje.
You already know. Gaethje.
Taking Justin.
Let's go. Let's go, Justin.
Now, are you basing that on your fandom or your professional knowledge?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
See, I love Justin a lot. I think he's awesome. If Tony Ferguson withstands the big, heavy hand of Justin in round one, because Tony Ferguson gets in trouble the most in round one of fights. That's where he always gets in the most trouble. Every fight, when he does get in trouble, it's always in round one. If he survives round one and the big overhand punches and the big bombs that Justin throws, because when Justin throws, man, we all know it's straight up, it's a bomb, and there's no – I would never want to get hit by Justin Gaethje. I think I'd be more worried about getting hit by Justin than some of the heavyweights out there. Not saying I want to get hit by either, but there's just Justin just packs that power and scary. I always want to see.
So who are you taking?
I'm going to tell you in a second, but I'm going to sidetrack here. I want to see Justin and Mike Perry fight because they both go out there and beat the crap out of each other. You tell me that'd be an awesome fight to watch. That'd be a money fight someday down the future. But if Tony survives Justin's onslaught in that first round, because Justin's going to come forward and he's going to try to fucking land, knowing the tendencies of Tony to take the most damage he does in the first round. If Ferguson survives that, I have a feeling if you get through the first round like that, it's going to end up Tony Ferguson winning. Tony Ferguson just is such a unique cat. He does so many different things. And he's not afraid to be on his back. He can fight off his back. He can fight on his feet. He hasn't lost in 8 years for a reason. He's that guy. So Justin is going to have to come in with all of it. And, we don't see Justin wrestle, which is sad because Justin can wrestle like a son of a gun. His base is wrestling. I'm hoping to slow the pace of the fight that he does try to wrestle in this one. I think he's going to need to, my opinion. I just don't think he should try to stand and trade for 5 rounds with Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is just too unique of a striker.
So who are you taking?
Ferguson.
You taking Ferguson?
Yep.
All right. So I'm taking Justin. So
I'm also
next interview.
I'm also taking Ferguson to beat Khabib when they finally fight too.
All right, so I'm taking Justin. You're taking Ferguson. So if I win, you're singing on the next interview we do. Got
Dude,
it?
I'll sing right the fuck now. I don't give a fuck, man. All right, that's a bet. But we're gonna make the bet. If Tony wins, if Ferguson wins, you're gonna come on and you're gonna sing a song. You're not gonna make up some bullshit fucking off the crap about camera and your mama watching fucking right. That's some horseshit, man.
Hey, I will. All right,
and
let's do it.
And wait, hold on. And the song you will have to sing is Barbie Girl.
Nah. Whoa,
oh no,
whoa.
Dude! Whoa.
Oh, so you want to pick my song? You want to pick my song? I get to pick your song then.
Yeah, what you gonna give me? Gotta give me something now.
I'm not sure, but it's gonna be provocative. Know that.
Oh, dude, Barbie Girl's pretty provocative, dude.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's got to be funny, you know. I mean, I can't. You know, see Cody Durden. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Oh like my god!
Plastic. It's fantastic. Oh, sorry. I might make you dance too. Listen, brother, man. This is awesome, man. This is why I love doing what I do, because we just, you know, we can get cut up a little bit, get sideways, have a little fun. It's a Friday night, man. We're in pandemic quarantine zone, so the world is different, but the people in it don't have to be. You know, this is just me being me, and this is just you being you, and this is what it's all about. This is why I like doing what I do, because we just get to shoot the shit. You know, I don't put pressure on anybody to be like politically correct or you know, super, you know, Mr. Perfect interviewee. You know, when they go, you know, well, so how do you feel about this fight? You know, and then they go, oh, well, you know, I'm going to do this. And I don't like that. It's too everybody else. So I just do it my way. And if anybody don't like it, change the channel. Yeah. And I know that's how you are. If anybody don't like you, see ya.
That's
but
right.
You know what's going to happen? They're going to start beating people up in the UFC. And then those people that were like going, now they're going to want to get on that train again. Shut them motherfuckers down. Hey, you don't want to ride me when it was rough. You don't get to ride me when it's fucking smooth. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Well, listen, brother, go refresh your cocktail and enjoy the rest of your night, man. You know, I'm not just happy for you. I'm proud of what you've accomplished so far. You know, first round signing you is a big deal. Like I said, so, you know, you said at the beginning you feel like you ain't done shit yet. You've done shit, because you wouldn't be sitting with first round if you ain't done shit. Remember that. Don't forget to take credit for the things you have done. You know,
right.
Obviously, you know, the work is still ahead of you, but you're all right to say, hey, I'm 10-2. I won some belts. I got myself to this spot with first round. Now I'm going to take this and have first round in my corner. I'm going to take that next fucking level. And that's where you're going to be.
Right.
And I know you're dedicated and committed to do it. You know? Oh, and by the way, man, you can't be stealing Justin's fucking backflip off the top of the cage. That's gimmick infringement.
Hey, I've done it twice.
I know, man, but that's his gimmick, bro. You got to come up with your own.
I did it my pro debut.
Yep.
And that was 2016, and I did my last fight. So
I know. I saw both.
Yeah.
But, you know, and if you were a professional wrestler, that's called gimmick infringement in the WWE. I mean, you're stealing somebody else's shit. So what you got to do, instead of doing a backflip, you got to come up with a different flip. Get up there, spin yourself around on top of the fucking bar, and then do a front fucking double tuck.
Yeah, I'll do a full. How about that?
Oh, a front flip and land on a split.
No, a backflip twist, land on your feet. Full.
Practice before you try that in the cage.
I ain't practicing that shit.
Because I don't want to see you win a fight and then. Listen, man, awesome. I'm so glad we did this, and we will get you back on the show regularly, man. So I'm going to ride out what you do. I got your back. I got your support. You know, and my boy Forrest here is going to support you. We know Walter Flores is supporting you. You got the whole Durden family traveling circus that goes with you to every fight. So you good, man. You on your way, son. You on your way, man. And
thank you, man. And,
we all going to witness it.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate it, man. And I'll just let me know when you want me to come back on.
Absolutely. We're gonna set that up. Also, give out shout out to any sponsors you have right now, and if you want to give out all your social media so people can start following you, get on the the Durden train if they ain't already on it.
Shout out to Prototype Combat Team, ATL Live Well, Eat Clean Bro, Triad Mechanical, and Precision Machine and Tools. I appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, all day, man. And you forgot to shout out though.
Yep.
You know who you forgot to shout out? Hold on a second.
Christopher James and first round management. Boom.
That's still as I go. You got to shout first round every time.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. You should have got check your thing, the chat thing. So guys, that is Cody Durden. Do you see the message?
Yeah.
All right. So guys, that is Cody Durden. He is going to dip on out. It's Friday night, and we're going to let him go have another cocktail, hang out with his familia on a Friday night, man. It's a little family get-together that nobody told him about. His dad was supposed to take him fishing. His dad bailed out on him, so he said, fuck it, I'll have a cocktail. That's the way you do it, man. He grown. He can do that shit. So, Cody, thanks for being here tonight, man. Stand by. I'll be right back with you in 1 second. Guys, I am Christopher James. We're going to dip on out here. We'll see you next time. Thanks for letting me be a part of your life and you guys being a part of mine. Peace. We out.